Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is kind of a fun episode. I basically went through my archives and started digging around for various different things on tape and on DVD that I recorded from tape and whatnot. And one of the things I ran across was our old AMV collection. So in today's episode, I'm just going to go over um, some of this history of what it takes to go through an AMV. So first of all, I'm sure a lot of you are questioning, well, what's an AMV? An AMV was short for an anime music video. So basically, just like how in the breaking era of the 80s here, um, how music used MTV as a vehicle to promote their songs, music videos and that stuff. Now, of course, MTV doesn't play music videos virtually anymore, and the whole entire concept of an artist making a music video to promote their songs is totally gone. Using the same concept that Much Music does and MTV had for promoting music by making some sort of video content with it. That same idea came with video. Now, I'm not the first person who made a music video, okay, or made this entire concept of the AMV. But one of the things I did do was pioneer this distribution and the usage of an AMV. Okay, and what I mean by this is, in this era of tape trading and whatnot, dating back to the days of the CFO, the Cartoon Fantasy Organization, a lot of people use VHS tapes and whatnot to basically trade anime. So basically, let's say I wanted a copy of, let's say, Sailor Moon from you, then I could send you a copy of something that you wanted, say, for example, like Orange Road or something. So I can record Orange Road onto a cassette and send that to you, and then you could take some different cassettes and record something that I'm interested in, and then you can send that to me. A lot of times that worked out really well. Now, as most things go, the video cassettes are usually what they refer to as T120, or 120 minutes of recording time. So that gives you 2 hours. Most animes are 22 minutes from the actual video, with maybe 30 seconds at the front and the end for the opening and the ending theme songs. So you always end up with some leftover time, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on what the content of the video is, because obviously if you get movies that are a little bit shorter, you always end up with a little bit of time left. So the concept was, well, in order to promote more animes and more things that you might be interested in watching, it was really hard to tell on a news group or on a newsletter or in a fanzine somewhere, what kind of animes that you would be interested in, and trying to describe it using words was really, really tough. So, for example, I'd go like, Bubblegum Crisis, it's about hard suits and sort of a futuristic cyberpunk world. And of course, if your description is really short like that, you could be really quite misleading. Like cyberpunk, does that mean like Blade Runner, or does that mean like flying cars and that kind of stuff? But then you kind of go, well, no, that's not really what it's quite about. And then you think hard suits. Well, okay, is that like Space Hulk, or is that like like Halo or something? And of course, anyone who's seen Bubblegum Crisis, those aren't really very accurate descriptions of it either. So the easiest way to do it is if we had some sort of video content, a clip from the anime, maybe like a trailer or something, that you could actually see what Bubblegum Crisis was sort of like. Maybe a couple of minutes or something, that would show it. And so basically we started in the early stages by making, sort of a clip, usually contains the opening credits a little bit, so that that would identify what kind of the name of the show, because we didn't have overlay or text that you could put on top of the video at this time. So the easiest way is just to make a short little edited clip of the opening theme song to say, to show you that, hey, okay, this is Bubblegum Crisis. And then we'd then usually go right into some combat scenes, or some big chase scenes or that kind of stuff, to give you that, give you some action and get you interested in the particular anime. Problem with this is, of course, you the audio was very discontinuous. You would get into with some singing or something like that. For example, if you pick something like Bubblegum Crisis again, and then you're playing let's say OVA number 4, and you get some basically some Midnight Rambler or some music when the car is driving at the front, and all of a sudden it clips, and then all of a sudden you hear the to the next scene where a bunch of ADP police guys are shooting their guns at something, and then all of a sudden it clips, and then you go into another scene where the car is racing down the highway, and all of a sudden clip, and then so again, when you're watching this, visually it's fine, but audioly speaking, it's very choppy. Okay, so then I came up with the concept. Well, why don't we put and replace the music on the back with some, continuous music, popular music, so that it'll sound continuous, and it'll make it like a music video, something that you might be able to see like on, MTV or something, right? And so basically, I started making this video cassette, just full of different samples of different anime done to music that I happen to particularly like. And basically, at the end of all my various fan sub tapes that we made, we threw various parts or various chunks of this trailer music videotape on the end of all the video cassettes, because you had 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes left over on the end of all these cassettes that you could basically sneak in this promo kind of stuff, kind of like if you're in a theater and you're watching the main feature, they also show you coming attractions, and it gives you all these clips and trailers of upcoming movies. So this is the same kind of idea. Here's a video cassette, it's got a little bit of room left on the end of it, let's shove up some AMVs in there, and that way that maybe next time that you send me a letter, you can say, hey, on the end of your AMV tape you had this really cool show. So that's how the idea for me, how AMVs were constructed and basically used. Now again, when I get into the concept of, I used a lot of my own sort of songs that I was really interested in. Again, I grew up in the 80s, so a lot of my songs are a lot of the popular hits and really sort of the one-shot wonders from the 80s, as well as, of course, being in Canada, I got exposed to a lot of Canadian bands and Canadian artists from all the various different radio stations, because I did a lot of listening to the radio and a lot of recording of content from the radio, from Much Music and whatnot, and even from a lot of the over-the-air FM stations, coming in from the States. So again, the first couple of videos and that kind of stuff in the AMV process was basically just linear compilations of scenes and that kind of stuff done to music. Now I'll put it in another episode, sort of like the difference again, how you make an AMV linearly as opposed to non-linearly, because obviously with new technology of putting all the samples in the computer, everything's made non-linearly now. But in the as you do on a VHS tape, all the samples have to be recorded one right after another, or what we refer to as linearly. So if you have to line up your scenes one right after the other, after the other, after the other, and you can't jump from this scene over here all the way backwards to this scene over here, and then I like this piece over here, so let's move this over here, and things like that, and readjust the timing and that kind of stuff. You couldn't do that using this VHS linear recording method. And again, this is what we had. So one of the big challenges, and probably one of the spark, the inspiration, shall we say, for the first generation or linear AMVs, was to line up particular pieces of the music to particular anime. So for example, what you would do is you'd take a song, let's say Bon Jovi's You Give Love a Bad Name. The first line of the song is, shot through the heart. So again, you want to try to find an anime where a person's being shot with a gun or something and the bullet goes through his body and whatever, and you want to try to time that exact sequence of video to the audio, so that when you hear the song shot through the heart, you see the sequence shot through the heart on your screen. Again, not very easy to line up and very difficult to do. Even finding examples like that is tough to do. For that particular song, from going to be one of the best examples is probably Excel Saga, but that of course didn't come out at the time when this technology was out. So, and I think I ended up using a Gundam charge counterattack scene for that particular one. But again, you choose from what anime you had at the time, right? So basically, I can give you, some examples of different animes that I used, AMVs, and some of the stories behind some of the AMVs that I have here. So I'm going to go through a couple of them. Full versions of the AMVs and the whole AMV collection that I have is listed below, so I'll put the link there so you can click on it. You can look at some of the various different examples and things that were available on this particular cassette, and then at the same time you can kind of think of how these videos were constructed and how they line up with the video and that kind of stuff, and you can see what we tried to do in some cases as opposed to what ended up actually happening, okay? Because it lines up. So again, in a future episode, what I'll do is I'll try to I'll remake the AMV, and I'll go through what we did originally using a linear editing process, and then I'll use the more modern pieces of computer software, and I'll edit the same video in a non-linear scenario, and you can see some of the new advancements and new things that you can actually do with AMVs now as opposed to back then. Okay. One of the very first videos I actually did was the song from a Canadian band called Harlequin, and it's called Please Take This Heart. At the time, I really liked that song, so I figured, okay, well, I'll take that song and I'll mix it to one of my favorite animes, which happens to be Orange Road. So, okay, so, Please Take This Heart, okay, so it's kind of like, okay, let's sort of focus on scenes between, sort of lovelish kind of scenes between, Kyosuke and Ayukawa, and kind of, I'll just clip all those scenes together and put them together into one sort of video. And that's basically how I made that particular video. So again, it's simply, here's the audio track, which is going to linearly start from the beginning and just fill various different video tracks in there. So again, I wasn't trying to line anything up. I wasn't trying to, make a particular verse line up with a particular video. Just basically linearly clip the scenes together, put the audio in, and there we go. One of the second videos that I made was again based on Orange Road. One of the funny pieces in Orange Road is that sort of weird random occurrence of Wishiko-san and Umao-san. So I thought, okay, well, why don't I go through all the laser discs and I'll just edit every single video clip of Wishiko-san and Umao-san all together in sort of again in linear order, and then I'll just take some sort of love song, about couples or something, and just kind of lay it underneath them. Just do that. So again, wasn't paying attention to trying to line the video up with any sort of sequence in the audio. I just wanted to just plow it together and make one sort of linear video again. Again, this I picked All I Want from Howard Jones at this time, and basically laid another linear video with that. While doing this music video thing, we had a lot of people at Arctic Animation and inside the Vancouver Japanese Animation Club that kind of got interested in making music videos. They kind of had their own idea, like, hey, let's pick this song over here and let's mix it to this kind of video here. And again, they also had some ideas of, okay, let's sort of try to line up this and this and this. And so other people came forward and they made their videos, and and they became part of the Arctic Animation collection. And I'll name two right off the top. Bat was One of the ones that a particular member named Andrew Chow came out, and he made a Dirty Pair AMV using Duran Duran's Notorious. And at the time, he spent a lot of time. I mean, this is like, probably like a week to maybe 2 weeks sitting there, going back and forth with a flying erase head, editing a scene. Did it work? Like, basically, the idea is basically you had to, let's say, for example, one of the sequences in the video is, right at the very beginning, Simon Le Bon would go notorious, notorious, and then you'd hear a female surprise song going, oh, okay. So basically, he spent a little time trying to get a Kay and Yuri video sequence where they're surprised. They're like, oh, okay. So he sat there basically, recording it, and then okay, record that sequence. Okay, rewind it. Let's see if it worked. Oh no, it's a little bit off. It's too soon. Okay, so fine. Rewind that sequence again. Line it back up again. Play the video again. Record it just a little bit longer. Okay, stop. Rewind again. Play it. Did it work? No, didn't work. Okay. Recue it up again. Yeah, recue the video up again. Play it again. 1, 2, 3. Record. Nope. Okay. Rewind it again. Play. Did it work? Okay, it worked. Okay, so so now okay, because so the surprise video part worked. Now we're gonna go back and clip that again, add some more video to them. That so in that song he did multiple situations where he tried to line up the surprise. Again, there's a sequence later on in the video where you hear the background singers go bam. Okay, so he tried to line up some sort of sequence where where basically they're throwing a punch, and they want to line up the punch to when the word bam comes up. So again, trying to line the video up, trying to go back and forth using flying erase head, and so that when the song goes bam, he wanted to make sure that Kay and Yuri connected with the punch bam, right? So again, with a non-linear editing system, that's probably very easy to do. Just manage taking that clip and just moving it along the timeline until it actually lines up. But again, with flying erase heads, it's basically a record. You gotta record it, gotta stop it, gotta go back, gotta play it, see if it worked. If it doesn't work, then you have to stop it, rewind it again, reline it all back up, reline your source video again, play it again, record it, try to make that fraction of a second alteration during your recording, and then stop it again, press rewind, press play, see if it worked. No, okay, rewind. You just keep doing that process over and over and over again until you actually got it right, because you can't go ahead and proceed past this point until you've finished doing this edit. So again, it'll take literally days upon weeks to actually get the entire video built. So again, when you have a chance, click below, and then you can see the links for that particular AMV and have a look at that one. The second one that Andrew did really a lot of work on to make was for an anime called Ariel. Okay, and so I don't mean Ariel as in like a Disney Ariel. No, this is an anime called Ariel. It stands for all around intercept and escort lady. Basically, it's a mad professor who decides to make this giant, of the Japanese, defense force, decides to build this big, huge, giant attack robot in the likeness of his wife, of course, and he basically gets his 3 daughters to pilot it. Okay, strange concept, but all right. So I guess they'll do anything when the giant monsters come to attack Tokyo again. I guess there's a new concept for that. So anyway, he did a really nice job taking the OEVA for that, and he made it mix to Leave a Light On from Belinda Carlisle. And again, the first line of the song is take my hand. So basically he wanted to line up a sequence where they're basically dragging Aya to basically the aerial robot, of course, the sequence is take my hand, right? So basically, you wanted to line up that sequence where they grabbed her hand and they're dragging it along. And so again, so starting the video that way, and then continuing, on from there. That was one of those sequences where you have an idea, you have a line or two that would which would work in this particular show, and we're gonna go through and basically create and fill the rest of the music video around these words, so that it fills it up and still line up those particular words that are in the video with the song, right? So that the effect is there. Okay, so another good video, also done by Andrew. And another one of my very favorite ones that someone else made, my friend Garth Porter. He was basically in my basement, just goofing around, and this entire anime music video thing. It was kind of cool, and he thought, okay, hey, why don't you pick a song that you like or whatever, and and just pick an anime that's on the shelf that you thought was cool, and then just kind of mix it together, like that way you just take one of your favorite songs and you take an anime that you like, and you kind of mix all this cool scenes and fight scenes and that stuff together, and make a video, right? And so he came in one day and he brought in an audio cassette of Power from Snap. Again, I really didn't know the song that well, because it was at the time one of the early rap songs that came out. And basically decided, okay, I'm going to take this cool show called Soul Bianca. And so this is the original OVA series, not the TV series, or the second OVA series for Soul Bianca that got released. This is the first Soul Bianca series. And so he decided to I'm going to take this one. And I remember in this video that there's guys getting arms chopped off and all this stuff, and the guys getting sniped with this sniper rifle from orbit. There's a city that's getting blasted with orbital lasers and that kind of stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll take that and I'm gonna mix it all together into some weird video and that kind of stuff. So basically, I just let him have free reign on the VCRs and the SVHS decks and on the laser disc, and he basically mixed up this video of Power, and it worked out pretty well actually. In retrospect, that's one of the songs I really kind of grew on me, especially this particular version. So that's another one of those ones that someone else made, which I really liked, and that really worked out well. Okay, two videos that I really liked, or I sort of worked on quite a lot on, was at this time I really liked the band Rush. Not a lot of the songs. I mean, as I said, I wasn't really interested in songs like Tom Sawyer and things like that. But basically everything pretty well that was on the Grace Under Pressure album from Rush, I really liked a lot of the songs from that. So I decided, okay, so I decided, okay, I'm going to take this song, Early Distant Warning, and I'm going to mix it to Gundam Charge Counterattack. And again, if you hear the movie Gundam Charge Counterattack, they're basically they're going to take this asteroid, or part of an asteroid, and they're going to basically try to crash it on the Earth and cause the big nuclear winter and all that kind of stuff, right? So I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. And basically at the end of the movie, they're Amaro and with the using jar and that kind of stuff, they're going to try to stop the asteroid from crashing on the Earth. So I thought, okay, if I mix the video in a slightly different order, I can make it so that the asteroid crashes on the Earth, right? Okay, so without giving too much terms, but anyway, I can remix the video so that it actually has a slightly different ending, or you would think might have a slightly different ending. So basically I took this video and made it so that, okay, this big struggle, this big war, lots of Gundam shooting each other and whatever, and lots of good sequences, and then of course at the end, this asteroid's coming toward the Earth, and if I just mix the sequences in a slightly different order in the movie, I can make it seem like the asteroid comes down and crashes on the Earth, and that's how the video will end. So basically I thought, okay, let's do that, let's remix this. And so basically this is one of these sequences where I had an idea that, okay, use this song, don't try to line up any lyrics and that kind of stuff this time, but this time I'm going to mash up the video in such a way that I'm going to make you think that something else happened in the movie, or the movie is about something else. So that was one of the ones I kind of played around with and made it kind of an interesting mix. So again, if you want to have a look at that, charge counterattack done to Rush early distant warning. Okay, one of the AMVs that I did some time working on, where I actually tried to line up some video and probably failed miserably. There was a couple I tried to do and I just couldn't. I just didn't have the patience probably to sit there and play with the jogger algo back and forward, back and forward. I tried. Okay, I tried. It sort of worked. It sort of didn't. What you want to do is maybe take a look at examples of these ones here, of ones that you can see what I was trying to do. I was trying to line certain things up in the video, but they didn't quite line up. So when you play the audio, you can see what the sequence is, where okay, I see that was a good spot for an explosion, because I'll give you the example of the two right here. One of the songs was Madonna's Vogue, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna take a whole bunch of these robot shows that things transform, because usually whenever something transformed, the moment they're finished transforming, they always kind of pose. They vogue, right? They pose. That's what you did on the dance floor to that song when you were doing Madonna's Vogue. Is whenever she says the word Vogue, you stop and do a pose, right? So I thought, okay, hey, if I can line up, Gundam, Dan Cougar, things like this, even Robotech, as soon as they finish the transformation, try to line up the word Vogue, which is pretty tough, because you think, when Madonna's going to sing the word Vogue, you just got to try to line up the transformation, and so that as soon as they finish the transformation, she's going to say the word Vogue. Right? So that one kind of worked. Didn't 100% work, but kind of worked. So you can kind of have a look at that and see how hard it was to do that. Again, that's probably one of the videos I'll probably redo, and I'll do that in a future. The second one, which is one of my favorite animes, is St. Michal's Academy. Okay, it got released. The second OVA got released under the Sins of the Sisters, but I decided to use St. Michal's Academy for a music video, and I wanted to line up to "Send Me an Angel" by Real Life, because ironically she's an angel, a fallen angel, right? So I wanted to try to line that up in such a way that there are lyrics like "Open Fire," and that's where I wanted an explosion or something to happen. I was trying to line that up. The lyric, when the girl, there's another lyric when the girl comes in and tosses a name in your heart, right? So basically, I wanted to use that, where she comes into she bursts into the classroom and introduces herself. I wanted to get that scene kind of lined up with that word, so that when a girl comes in and tosses a name in your heart, I want to get that part to line up. But again, it's hard to get that sequence to tune up and that kind of stuff. Empty dreams, kind of things. I wanted to make sure that was the scene where the Japanese Zeros are flying overhead and that kind of stuff, right? So a lot of different sequences that would have worked really well if I could just spend the extra time to line it up. So again, take a look at that one, St. Michal's Academy, done to "Send Me an Angel" by Real Life. Another one I tried to do the editing, but maybe didn't quite line it up as well as I could. So again, this is a pretty big topic, so we'll get into more examples, and and basically I'm going to get in a future episode I'm going to remake these videos using a modern digital editor, so that I can go over the differences between how how I edited it using a linear editor, and all the flaws that basically had as I built the video linearly, and then I can go through and show you how I would have done it non-linearly, as I picked the scenes and that kind of stuff, and did different technological things that I could have done to the video. For example, now I can overlay a text, for example, so I don't actually have to clip the opening theme songs to tell you that it's St. Michael's Academy, for example. And if certain scenes didn't work out or line up properly, for example, like Vogue, I can compress the video. So I know when Madonna's going to say Vogue, I can now compress the transformation scene quicker so that it'll unfold, and Double Zeta will put all the pieces together and ching, there you go, Vogue, right? So again, that will be done in a future episode. So again, what you want to do is you want to hit like and you want to hit subscribe so that when I make those episodes, you'll get notified right away when those ones go up, and you can have a look at those. Okay. All right. So until next time, see you again.